When it comes to these two, Nux and Muda, there was a situation where, okay, how do I put this? Let's get started, okay? Let me snap out of it, Omni. Let's do this. So this is my game Mutahar, okay? Some ordinary gamers, you guys probably know him. He makes a lot of YouTube videos like every single day. I'm talking about whatever he wants. He does deep dives. He goes into the cyberspace and like scary parts of the internet that I wouldn't dare touch, and crypto. Like, man's got a lot of different interests, and he also talks about a lot of drama as well and current events that happen as they come. Sometimes politics, but not too much. But yeah, that's Mutahar. Hey guys and gals, it's me, Mutahar here. And then he just sits here and he just yaps for like, 8 to 20 minutes, sometimes 30, 40 minutes, just deep diving. And he's just that dude, okay? You either hate him or you love him. There's been some recent controversy because recently he's left the Twitter space because, well, to be fair, everyone's leaving Twitter because they just kind of hate the cesspool that it is. But also there's been some controversy because of the other guy that he made a video about, Nux, aka Nux Taku. If you guys don't know him, Nux is a VTuber, okay? He's probably one of the most degenerate VTubers that you can probably think of.
Jesus.
He has this ridiculous avatar that looks like...
Okay, I'm not trying to cover for Nux, but is he really one of the most degenerate? I feel like there's a fuck ton of insanely degenerate VTubers. Is he known as like a super degenerate VTuber? Or...
I don't even know what it is. It reminds me of something, but I can't figure it out. And probably one of the most iconic voices that you've probably heard on the internet. Like, once you've heard him, you can't get it out of your system. He's also somebody that you kind of either hate or love, having a lot of people that also hate him for a lot of controversies. We'll try not to get into every single one of them because he's been into a couple. But yeah, he's most famously known for having a YouTube channel where he kind of like does these like events where he comes up there and surprises his friends on Discord and says, hey bro, watch this clip. Or like, hey bro, yo, what do you think of this video? What do you think of this picture? Or let's do this game show. And it's just usually just degenerative stuff where he's just laughing and having a blast. And usually the people that are on the show as well are doing the same thing. He's collaborated with a lot of big YouTubers as well while he does this thing. He's just like the jokester of VTubers type situation. Correct.
He has a reputation for being a blabbermouth and got in hot water with one of the biggest VTuber agencies. Not a great reputation. He's weird, and a lot of his content was centered around Lolly is so weird. Watch this couple. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no idea. All right.
As of last night, Mutahar made a video titled Post Nux Clarity. It's a pretty funny video title where he basically goes in depth talking about Nux, his interactions with him, and specifically this one clip that happened apparently where Nux was showing off hentai. That's the thing that he does. Like, he shows off like little clips of hentai and then gets people to kind of laugh about it. But apparently one of the clips that he might have shown him might have been lolly. Or is it lolly? I don't know if it's lolly, lolly. I've always just called it lolly. Anyway, it's the type of hentai. It's illegal, in the United States or whatever, but it's very, very frowned upon from like many people because it's usually the girls look underage, right? Either they are underage or the artist creates them in a way to look like young children, right? So it's then there's shades of gray because there's people who are like defending it. There's people who are like, no, it's fine. There's people who are like, oh, well, some women actually just look young just because they don't have curvaceous bodies, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to get into that, okay? You can stop right.
If I recall, you talked to Nux Taco before, I think. Yeah, I've met him in real life. We went out to eat before. And I've been on the show a few times with him. I just don't know much about his content. But
now, don't even omni me on that. We're not having that conversation, okay? But we will talk about what happened with the video with Mutahar. Or I would, but yeah, the video has now since been deleted. I did watch the video before it got deleted because when the title popped up, I was like, oh my God, not the homies. Again, for those of you guys who don't know, there used to be a podcast with Mutahar, Oompaville, and Nux. And they invited me on there, I think like 2 or 3 times. And every time I've been around them, hanging out with them and talking with them, I've always had a blast. There's been no weirdness, no issues. They've all seemed like just regular people talking shit, right? Like, it's just literally just talking about events and just having fun and just being bros. I really did miss that podcast. I think he's went into a little bit of detail as to why the podcast shut down. There were speculations that maybe it shut down because of the distancing themselves of Nux. Nux apparently started picking up a lot of bad juju when the whole Mr. Beast situation came out. They started talking about some dude named Shadman. Okay, Shadman is an artist. For those of you guys who are not caught up on this, just do your best, okay? But Shadman, he is used to be a person who used to draw very, very like terrible stuff, right? Usually involving kids. Okay, so he was one of those hentai people, but he just drew stuff and then it was bad. Freaking Ava Chris Tyson had one of the posters in the Mr. Beast room, okay? And then when that happened, people were like, who has associated with Shadman? Like, Shadman became like like new Epstein, right? So people started looking for like, did you show up? Were you at an Epstein party? Were you there? Kind of thing. Were you at a Shadman party trying to see if anyone has ever interacted with this really, really creepy guy? In fact, I believe one of Nux's last tweets on Twitter, he hasn't been active there, was him basically being like, hey, I don't interact with the dude. I just, I've reached out to him, but I know he was doing stuff, XYZ. That's the long and short of it when it comes to Nux and why he was basically being distanced from, and a lot of people have been coming after him. Anyway, going into the sequence of events here, before we get to the video, because I did watch it, I'll give you a quick summary of my thoughts here as well. But he did make this post and he said, hey, regarding the last video about Nux, while I can't be a friend after some of the recent things that surfaced, I did do an overreaction that stemmed from being emotional on the reaction from the community on Reddit. No, bro. No, my man left Twitter only to go to Reddit. Say it isn't so, bro. Say it isn't so. Okay, Reddit has been a cesspool way before Twitter was a cesspool. Okay, you thought Twitter was bad? Go to Reddit and you will find some of the deepest, darkest freaking echo chambers. And nah, bro, nah. You went from one cesspool to another. Why would you do that, bro? Like, continue. And it's important to understand he's saying he's being emotional because when I think of way before Twitter was a cesspool. Okay, you thought. Say it isn't so, bro. Say it isn't so. Okay, Reddit has been a cesspool way before Twitter was a cesspool. Okay, you thought Twitter was bad? Go to Reddit and you will find some of the deepest, darkest freaking echo chambers. And nah, bro, nah. You went from one cesspool.
Reddit is significantly more moderated these days than Twitter, but okay.
To another. Why would you do that, bro? Like, continue. And it's important to understand he's saying he's being emotional because when I think of Mutahar sometimes, like, and I think of some of these content creators, the way that he talks, he comes off so nonchalant that sometimes I forget like these people are human, right? They have like feelings and they have emotions, and like after they put the video back, they go, oh man, and they feel human emotions, right? So let's not forget that. Anyway, he said, I've been watching my content for the past few weeks, and I realized my channel has slipped into a slop channel. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god, bro. Okay, I have a lot to talk about when it comes to slop. So much, in fact, I've been thinking about making my own video talking about slop. More on that one later. I've made more drama-related content over the last several months than I have fun, engaging, and informative content. That includes producing videos that don't release daily. I need to take more time to release content a couple times a week that stands in quality and not in quantity. I knew this. See, I've been saying this. Okay, several things that I have to say about this. Number one, bro, gang, Mutahar, Summer Gamers, my gang. You've been making slop for a long time. Okay, we've all been making slop, and I'll talk about this in the video, but it's okay, right? I hate the concept of people coming up here and yapping, maybe being unprepared or not being so well researched that they go into this big old deep dive that's been well prepared, and then people calling the content, slop, just because you're shooting the shit with your, content creators on a daily basis.
Just I wake up every morning, I say,
yo, man, this is some crazy stuff, and I talk about the news for you guys. And some people might call it slop. I don't really care what people call it. I just enjoy myself in the community that I've created, just talking about what's happening around the world. But yeah, Muda, you have been making slop for a long time, bro, and it's okay, right? It's like your audience does not care whatever your channel starts getting labeled, right? As long as you're having a good time and they're having a good time and you guys are both having a good time, then you're doing what you need to do, right? Which is fostering your community. I think what's been happening though is that there's this movement, right, where people are talking about slop channels, right? And he's kind of good enough, but for words, right? Who cares? You continue talking shit with your own community because that's too much time. We're talking about this. But yeah, he said he wants to make better videos, which means he needs to stop uploading. He doesn't like the target that he's in. It's a lot of pressure and these campaigns or these, how do I put it? It's not just drama specifically, but it's really important issue. But yeah, also chasing the trends helps more people to find you, right? People chase trends because it usually goes more viral. You get views. Step back, right? Because the relationship with their audience is getting a little bit too parasocial, or a lot of these people are finding themselves in controversies without even like saying anything. So like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised that if I did not talk about Mutahar and Nux, that someone would make some post or video and be like, why Omni didn't talk about, Nux and Muda, right? And I could have been like sick. I could have been in the hospital. I could have been like, like sleeping. I could have been like, man, I don't feel like making videos today, tired. But then someone would be like, yo, Omni out here defending. So it's getting really weird on the streets because the voices are becoming a lot louder and they're becoming harsher. The internet has always been a wild we're essentially interacting with Nux when it came to Nux's antics. And one of those antics went a little bit too far, and Muda did his best for something that happened like 3 years ago to basically say, I know, I'm distancing myself, I don't approve of any of this stuff, I'm sorry, I'm taking accountability. Like you said that plenty of times, and yeah, I just didn't know that Nux was this kind of dude, and was like, I just can't be friends with him anymore. That's kind of the overlying message, right? So people on the side that kind of already disliked him was like, well, I don't know, I feel like you're kind of just trying to distance yourself to save your skin and save your reputation. I feel like you're lying. I feel like you knew. You can't really appease people on the internet, by the way. I don't think there's ever been a situation where someone says sorry or my bad and it actually works out. But yeah, so obviously it didn't like appeal to the dissenters, feeling like he had more of an agenda when it came to distancing himself or lying or saying that he knew these things or there was contradictions with him in previous podcasts, right? Then you have the other side, the Muda supporters, who years ago people started speaking more details. All you really need to know is that, yeah, man, Muda is basically, pushing away against Nux. And in terms of how I feel, it's very complicated. I have a lot to say, but I don't also want to yap. So I'll try to summarize it. But like, number one, a lot of people want to try to like cancel people for associating with people, right? Like, which is always kind of terrifying because you guys know me, my history being back in the Smash community. When that whole thing happened, the Me Too movement, and I found out that a lot of people that I thought were cool people that I used to see all the time weren't. Yeah, it was one of the biggest betrayals of my freaking life. I used to spend like all my time with the Smash community, and never at one point did I sense or see any kind of all of this darkness that was spreading, right? So sometimes people you thought were your homies might end up doing like some really terrible things, and just because they were your homies, people will be like, oh gosh, he associated. So there's that one. It's not that black and white. Okay, not everyone's just an Epstein, and anyone who took a picture with him or seen with him is like guilty by association. The number two, the concept of like friends, in my opinion, it's a little interesting, right? Because I don't have a lot of them. And then like the people that I call like my gang or friends or buddies or whatever, then I say like maybe on YouTube are people that I don't interact with at all, right? Like I say that Muda's my gang.
Holy shit! How does anybody? Oh my god, this guy is the yap master. What the fuck?
Game, but we have interacted several times. He's helped me when my account got hacked. We've talked about some details when I need help with some videos, but otherwise we don't talk a lot. But I feel like even just little bits of conversation when it comes to like people online, at least for me, is enough to be like call someone like an associate, right? But what the internet will do is see like me being in a video with like Mutahar, right? and think, oh yeah, I'm friends with all of these guys. And it's like, to be honest, I can't tell you their birthdays. I can't tell you exactly where they live. I can't tell you any like specific details. We have just interacted more than some people. But yeah, so it's one of those situations where people on the outside look at YouTubers and think because they've collabed or they've interacted that now they're just besties and buddies, XYZ. You gotta be careful with that because to be frank, like the relationship that you think some people have might be a non-existent one. Like for example, like for me, like I don't really have like any like enemies.
Oh my
so
God.
One person interacted, I've always kept I literally am a non-problematic person. So when people as well, but I'm just not going to hate them just because people hate them type situations. So the one from the podcast is like and it sucks to see because my interactions with them have been nothing but positive for their audience as well. Watching this video is like I feel like he's trying to cater to the internet audience, right? No Reddit people who subscribe who are not your homie. They're just coming to watch, trying to create. They're like, oh, down, know what's up. I think that's the best way is just talk to your loyal fan base and make sure that everything.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and today we got a pretty serious video to make. Throughout my career,
Apparently he uploaded this video and then deleted this video.
we have people make mistakes and there's accountability to be taken, and I am not shy to taking real accountability to actual mistakes. Now, the thing about this is obviously I can upload these kind of videos on secondary platforms, but I really think for full effect I should always upload to the main platform and really talk to you guys in a full level-headed way. Now, I have a Reddit board known as Some Ordinary Gamers, and you can post whatever memes and things you want all day, every day. But one of the clips that I saw, one of the things shared was resurfaced video of Oompaville, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Nuxtaku watching Loli together on a Discord call. So when I see this kind of stuff, it blows me, and it obviously flashbangs anybody, and I want to definitely have a talk about it and really explain to you exactly what this is, what it's about, give you my side of the perspective, and again, take accountability where accountability needs to be fucking taken. Now, I have a pretty hardcore stance against things like Loli, and obviously I don't want to be contributing to watching that kind of content or normalizing it in any fashion. So in this situation, obviously I looked at some of these clips and I want to explain what's happening and completely condemn it too, because as somebody that is 1000% against this kind of stuff, I don't want to be, again, normalizing it in any capacity. Now, for people who don't know, Oompaville and Nuxtaku were former members of the Some Ordinary podcast, which obviously ended 3 to 4 months ago. Now, I get to talk about that a little bit after I discuss all of this, because there's some lore about it that I can finally really discuss, and it should shed to light exactly what really happened with the podcast, because it's pretty independent of this. But to go back to it, Nuxtaku is a former collaborator, a former friend of mine, and I mean really a former friend of mine, because some of the stuff that I've seen over here is disgusting enough that I really can't continue a friendship, and I really can't, like, again, excuse some of my behavior watching some of this content as well. So this video that was uploaded with, again, Nuxtaku as Jeffrey Epstein, and me as, I assume, Delane Maxwell over here, Mutahar Newt, right? So obviously in this clip, or in this video, there is a pretty big clip of me, Nuxtaku, and Quite, and Caleb basically watching and reviewing hentai together. Now, while all three of us were present in this video, this is a section from me, right? Now, obviously, these videos, according to how this video was played, was uploaded on YouTube. Now, for full context, when it comes to recording stuff, this was 3 years ago, so I don't remember everything done onto it. I don't think anybody can remember something they did 3 years ago, especially when you make videos nearly every day. But in this collaboration, Nux doesn't really give any preparation material. We kind of just jump in and record stuff and then send it over to his editors or himself over Discord. But in this situation, he showed us a channel known as Henty Boy, right? Which, again, this is a video known as Hentai Thick Girl, very unknown, very small viewership. But as you can see right over here, right, this was all uploaded to YouTube.
And when you look at the upload date for this, August 2020, around Nux's actual video, which would have been uploaded like January of, or the end of January, like 2021, the channel pretty much remained dormant over here, but it was pretty much an unknown channel that slipped under YouTube's moderation. And I don't even think that channel exists anymore because with the amount of attention raised through Nux's initial video, it probably is completely removed and has actually been banned off of the platform.
And again, when I was working with Nux, a lot of the things we did talk about was being anti-Loli in that situation. And Nux very much made it clear to me that he was anti this stuff as well too, and he still maintains it to this day. But the kind of stuff that he showed us was anime ni summer.
Now, inside the video, inside Nux's presentation, it kind of came off as like just a cursed little hentai, and the
He lied here and was exposed, therefore he deleted it. He claimed he didn't know it was lolly, but people showed that in the original video, Muda acknowledged it's a lolly. Synopsis: Yuta Yamuochi is an average high school student preparing for exams through his summer vacation. His older cousin, blah, blah, blah. Is this like a hentai, or is it just like an anime? Words to deeds, she offers him her own grown-up body. And Yuta quickly takes advantage of the opportunity.
reality of it is I never really watched this
Oh, thank you. Wow, we had some quick linkers in chat. It's a little concerned. Jesus, fuck. It's hentai, but the cousin has giant boobs. Okay.
collaboration, but if you take the name that Ni Summer has had and put it into my anime list, which I realistically should have done at the time, you can see the synopsis is Yuta Yamayuchi is a average high school student, right? So right there, I'm not going to play the whole semantics, oh, is this really loli game? Like, I don't even care if somebody's like 18 or on the cusp of like turning 19. At the end of the day, high school can very much involve a minor. And when you scroll down and go to the information, it is a OVA by a studio known as Rabbit Gate with no licensors, but the genre is in fact hentai. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if it's hentai and it involves high school people, it does in fact fall under the loli banner, and that is never okay in any capacity. Now, obviously,
Is it? Oh my god! I don't want to do the age of consent, but is that true? If they're hentai and it's 18-year-old high schoolers, is that lolicon? I thought lolicon was like fucking like actual like kiddie kids. Where are my lolicon experts? I know you fucking perverts are out there.
obviously these videos existing on YouTube kind of, again, led us to some credence that maybe it wasn't, you know, this like borderline illicit material. But again, these were also smaller YouTube channels, so chances are they probably weren't swept up under the YouTube moderation, which is something that also should have really been considered from my end. It should have been something that I never watched in the first place. I should have never, you know, condoned. And honestly, it's pretty shitty to even contribute to somewhat normalizing this material. When there's a lot of large creators that work with a person, you know, you tend to have this level of like authority brought into it. And there is obviously a blind spot when this is somebody that you consider to be a friend at the time. And obviously when you work with that person and you see other large
What? So what happened? He watched a clip of some lolly while he was on YouTube and he commented on it or something? What?
creators that you're also friends with work with that person, it just, again, swells up that blind spot that you make. But again, no real excuses over there. You shouldn't really have a blind spot in the first place. And again, it's not only me being a poor judge of character, but I should have absolutely have spotted this years ago. So for that, I absolutely own up to my fuck up here. But again, I don't think this is literally us gooning together watching Loli in this manner.